Stabilize!
Violet grass is a plant that enjoys a moist environment and is best picked after it rains. If you should choose to pick any, be sure to store them appropriately. Violet grass is a plant that enjoys a moist environment and is best picked after it rains. If you should choose to pick any, be sure to store them appropriately.
Nice and spicy.
Can't see?
Solidify!
Traveler and Paimon, good to see you. I knew you two would come.
Are you kidding? We wouldn't miss it for the world. We've been looking forward.
I can tell, judging, but you're actually right on time. The audience still hasn't started entering the venue yet, which means... The Opera House has assigned seating, so you always have to make reservations. I've al-
Ooh, front row seats. Thanks.
Don't mention it. There's no need to keep thanking me.
Hey, Lenny! Could you come over here and take a look at this?
Oh, I'll be right there. Seems there's an issue with the stage props over there. That's Cal-
Yeah, we'll just go to our seats. You go ahead, Lenny. these should be our seats. Come on. Hey, traveler. Maybe we should strike up a conversation with the person next to us. Since we're sitting together and the rest of the... Oh, you little... Of course you put this on pine...
Excuse me, I did not realize you felt awkward. I am terribly sorry. I would be perfectly happy to chat with you if that is what you would like.
Oh, so you heard all of that, did ya? Wait, that's not it, Paimon's. Sorry. Paimon's the one who was being rude, talking under her breath like that. Oh, Paimon's got it. You're all...
A friend, you say? Well, if Mr. Linney would like to be my friend, I would be more than happy.
Oh, so you're not friends with Linney, then. Oh, this is getting more awkward by the second. Nice to meet you. Paimon is Paimon, and this is the Traveler. We just arrived in Vaudain.
It is an honor to meet you two. I have heard of your deeds across Tevat. And as required by proper etiquette, I will also introduce my...
Oh, Monsieur Nervillet. What an honor it is to have you here to see my show.
Ah, Mr. Linney. I should say it is in fact an honor for me to see your performance in person.
Wait, Nervillet?
I saw you all chatting just now. Allow me to introduce you to Fontaine's Chief Justice. That seat is always reserved for him. It wouldn't be too much to say that he...
Ooh, sorry for being so rude just now.
No offense taken. Being Chief Justice is merely what I do for work. Nearly every person has their usual reserved seat. And by the way, I should probably let you know, there's someone sitting up there in the VIP seats that has been striking a pose for quite a while now. I believe she is trying to give you a most elegant and impressive first impression. So I think you should take notice of her sooner rather than later. Otherwise she may become flustered.
Huh? Oh, it's Farina, the Hydro Archon.
I've pretty much finished my preparation.
Yay! The show's finally about to start! Paimon can hardly wait! Oh, they're dimming the lights! The show must be starting! Sorry. Paimon will try to stay...
Welcome, one and all, to the Opera Epiclese. I am the star of today's show, Linny. And over here is my sister, Lynette, who will be working as my wonderful assistant. Please, let's give her a warm welcome.
Hello, everyone.
I know she may seem to be a little sleepy right now, but...
Whatever.
Now, some of you may be thinking, two vision holders who can freely manipulate elemental powers performing... So, I would like to take a moment to assure you that elemental powers will have nothing to do with what... Both Lynette and myself have removed our visions for the show. That way, even the gods won't be able to help us.
Oh, good point. That's what makes the show real magic.
Now, without further ado, let the show begin. Lynette will now exit. I know you might miss her, but don't worry. She'll be coming right back on stage momentarily. Perhaps... Oh, and before I forget, there's one more thing I should... You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. A magician's greatest skill is making things disappear or appear. The possibilities are endless. But this isn't what you came for. These little tricks, you've seen them all before. So it's time for something truly extraordinary, don't you think? This one's a little tricky. Using this water tank, I shall make my sister vanish completely, right before your very eyes. It's actually quite simple. She'll just turn into air bubbles and float right out of the top. Oh no! I told them to check all the props carefully. With the lid on, even air can't escape. An amateur magician would be getting very nervous right around now. Luckily, it's me on stage, so let me show you what a true virtuoso can do. Lynette, are you still there? Don't go too far. We don't want to use up all our magic.
Hi, I'm back.
Uh-huh.
If we could see easily through his tricks, then that would mean that his skills are still lacking. To appreciate magic, you should focus on the show happening on stage, rather than getting caught up in trying to...
Guess you're right. Paimon couldn't believe her eyes when Lynette reappeared. Amazing!
Thank you everyone. I'm glad you enjoyed that performance. But our magical journey has only just begun. I've prepared even more astonishing The magic of transformation and disappearance can go far beyond what you've just seen. I'm sure many of you are thinking that escaping the water tank was impressive enough. In which case, I have ample time to make all necessary So, for my next trick, I will require the participation of one lucky audience member. Please, if my assistants could bring out the magical box. There are 2 boxes, and only 2 boxes. One is here, and one is there in the aisle among the audience. I'm sure many of our clever audience members have already guessed our next magic trick. Our lucky audience member and I will each enter a magic box. Now please, everyone pay very close attention to the box you see here.
Wow! How's he gonna do this? Hey, do you think this is all magic tricks, or does Lenny have actual superpowers?
The lucky audience member will be generated by this random number selector. It selects numbers entirely at random. Even I don't know who will be chosen to part. Now then, let's begin. Let me see. Oh, row 7, seat 3. Congratulations! You now have the chance to experience magic firsthand. Please, come forward. My assistant will take you beside the magic box. I'm sorry, it might be a little cramped inside, but no need to feel nervous. We've carefully arranged. You don't need to do anything, but no matter what strange things may happen, if the magic is interrupted, who knows where you might end up? You might even find yourself in the Fortress of Merop.
Oh, okay.
All right. Before I enter the magic box, there is one more thing I need to ask the audience to do. Like this. 60, 59, 58. Just keep... I won't be able to see anything in the pitch black box, so I'll be relying on your voice. Oh, and no tricks now. If you quickly count from 60 in just 30 seconds, then I'll be in a tough spot.
Ooh! Paimon kinda wants to count faster after hearing him say that!
No, that won't do. I can see it in your... Come on, repeat after me.
60! 59!
That's right, perfect. Keep it going. All right, I'll see you all on...
54, 53, 50... Why aren't you counting, Nervalet?
I am counting in my head. I think things are exciting enough in here as it is. Merely a consequence of my identity and personality. Do not worry about me.
Oh, alright. You look so serious that Paimon thought you might be feeling...
40! 39! 38!
Mr. Linney, are you all right in there?
Yes, I'm fine. It would be a disaster if we get sent to the wrong places. Or...
Even though he's saying that, Lenny doesn't seem nervous at all. What was that noise? Did you hear it too? Not sure. Anyway, it doesn't...
25!
What's wrong, Mr. Linney? I can still...
I seem to have accidentally knocked over a decoration. I'm trying...
Never mind the decorations!
No, that's unacceptable. I want my show to be perfect.
19! 8!
It seems things aren't quite... It feels like you're all starting to count faster, but that's all right. I know it can be 10 seconds and change is...
10!
Almost there now.
8!
Swapping two people is harder work than you might think. Even a master magician like me can't guarantee I'll get it right the first time. Hey, wait! Is this the back one? I can't tell. They both look the same inside. Huh? No, that's not it. I'll try again.
7!
Hey, slow down! Honestly!
5! 4! 3!
Whoops! That doesn't count!
0!
Ta-da!
What happened? Is this part of the show? Mr. Linney, you're going to use...
What happened?
Oh no. Maybe this isn't part of the show. The girl was...
This performance is over. Medical staff with me. Guards, secure the scene and detain all the performers.
Yes, that's right. If this was just an accident, then we must investigate the cause. But if this was all part of some scheme, then those accountable...
No need to be alarmed, you two. We'll get to the bottom of this soon enough. Unfortunately, the person who is in the magic box has been pronounced dead. His name... Apparently, the fireworks on stage ignited the ropes that were suspending the water tank, which then caused the tank to fall. As of now, we are still not sure why we found Cowl in the box, rather than the guest from the audience. And after an initial search of the area, it appears that this incident was not merely some mishap with the... And there are many indications that it is connected with the case of the serial disappearances of young women.
The serial disappearance.
That's the case that Charlotte mentioned before.
I know the truth. I can see through the whole thing. I say that our powerful magician, Mr. Linney, is now the prime suspect for the serial disappearances case.
Huh? Why me? This whole thing was an accident.
all occurred during your magic show, did it not? The missing girl disappeared after being chosen, did she? Now that I think about it, that whole speech about magicians making things disappear was nothing more...
That can't be right! How come he was in the box on the stage the entire time? Besides, before the show, he told us that he would like to catch the criminal behind the disappearances! He could have
Save discussion for a later time, please. Lady Farina, may I assume that your comments just now constitute an accusation against Mr. Linney and his associates?
Huh? I just think that he... Well, I think it might be a little early to talk about...
But what Lady Farina said just now makes perfect sense. Looks like she...
A kidnapping and murder carried out under the cover of a magic show.
I mean, of course, my dear people. But what excites me even more than the obvious... That's right. I mean you, Traveler. You'll support Linney, won't you? After all... Then there's no problem at all. You know, the Traveler and I already had a duel, but with Linney's help, our little duel ended in a draw. But draws really are the most... So, no more draws. Between the two of us, there must be a clear winner and loser.
Huh? It wasn't a draw. She obviously lost last time.
I understand. Charges have now been pressed, and as such, well, Traveler, seems Lady Farina has set you in her sights. But putting her dramatic rhetoric as... Are you willing to act as Mr. Linney's attorney and defend him in this case? Very well. The trial will be held a day from now in the Opera House. Both Linney and his troupe are all potential suspects. The audience may begin to leave in an orderly fashion once they have been cleared by the guard.
A day isn't that long. Let's see what kind of case this big-shot outlander...
Sorry about everything that happened just now.
Of course! Who wouldn't be scared after witnessing an act?
Yeah, I'm a little shaken up myself. I know you already claimed that you would defend me, but now it's just us talking. Tell me, do you think I could... I understand. Even I'm not sure what happened, so I can only imagine how I'm sure everyone sees me as the biggest suspect at this point. But if you... I don't know whether what happened there on the stage was purely an accident or not. And I don't... As for how that girl chosen from the audience could suddenly disappear, I'm afraid I don't have any... Even a skilled and knowledgeable magician like myself couldn't pull all that off in just 1 minute.
Which is precisely why we need to investigate! As this book says, the impossible could not have happened. Whatever happened must have been that which is possible. Paimon bought them when we were reading at the bookshop in the city earlier. Pretty cool, huh? Don't worry, Paimon used her own savings to buy them. It wasn't from our travel funds.
I think they look cute on you, Paimon.
You have good taste, Lynette!
That's the right attitude. Feeling depressed isn't going to help me, but with the guards watching our every move, it's going to be especially difficult for Lynn. Good thing you agreed to be our attorneys.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, just leave it to us. Oh, since we're going to start investigating, Paimon...
Oh, well... I'm afraid that would involve some...
The secrets behind our magic are past saving, Linny.
I suppose you're right. The truth be... 'Tis truly a pity. As a magician, our magic show is a work of art. But if revealing our secrets will help you uncover the truth behind what happened, we should go somewhere else if we're going to discuss our magic tricks. We'll go speak with the...
Alright, let's go have a look while the investigation teams are still here. Detective Paimon is on the case! Hello, officer. How's the investigation going?
I see. You must be the traveler that Lady Farina mentioned.
Huh? What do you mean?
Come with me and you'll see. The deceased is one of Linny's assistants named Cal. Even though he hadn't joined the troupe long, the assistants are usually in charge of setting up and inspecting the props. As you probably saw when you were in the audience, the water tank suddenly fell and smashed the box with cowl. This is the real mystery. We've already searched the scene and were unable to find. However, if you look carefully, the box was positioned directly under the water tank. The ropes holding the tank were then burned. All these factors lining up so perfectly makes it hard. If anything, the more logical explanation is that the whole incident was intentionally planned.
But he doesn't have a motive.
Are you both good friends of his?
Well, you can't say we're...
So in just a short time, he was not only able to win your trust, but even convince... I know there's no such thing as magic. The real trick of a magician is holding the audience in the palm of... I've seen a lot of cases, and I can tell you that people are the least reliable kind of evidence. Sorry, I tend to be pretty straightforward. Anyway, you may investigate the scene of the crime yourselves if you're curious.
So this is the rope that broke and cut... The rope looks pretty durable. How can it be burned through so quickly by fireworks? Why are you suddenly so serious, Traveler? Whoa. Look! Most of it was burned away, but there's still a little bit of it left. Huh. So if a rope meant to hold... Wait! Why don't you write... Hello there! What are you investigating?
Oh, this location has also been cordoned off because the magic troupe members are currently considered. The seats were all booked in advance, so we were able to deduce the missing woman's identity by checking the guest list. Sure, it's not like this is confidential information. Her name is Halsey. She's a painter from Font. Apparently, she wasn't a regular at the Opera House, but she'd been feeling some pressure with her work lately, which made her decide to come see. The magic troupe members all claim not to know her. We have looked into her social connections. Simply put, she wasn't related to the magic troupe at all, which matches the features of the previous serial.
Were the victims of
That's how it seems to us, in any case. Apart from the fact that they were all young women of around the same...
Okay then.
No need to be so formal. If you do, it is of utmost importance that we get...
The investigation team has some new findings. Turns out there's an issue with the random...
See, I told you. What if the machine picked some big guy's seat?
Sorry to interrupt, but we're helping Linny and Lynette with their side of the investigation.
You're trying to help them?
Linny used the machine to pick a random member of the audience during his... Well, we thought there might be a serious problem with the machine, so...
It turns out that the seat number it picked wasn't random at all. I'm sure you already know that you have to make a reservation in advance to get... In other words, Linny knew who would be...
That much checks out.
Bet you see why I was saying it'd be tough to make a case for Linny.
Even though it's bad for Linny's case?
I see that you're investigating the area. Well, if you find any new and interesting leads...
We don't have too many thoughts.
Then why don't I tell you my hypothesis first?
The thud? Oh!
Yes, exactly. It wasn't terribly... It's just that everyone was awaiting the results of Linny's trick with bated breath. So...
That makes...
I'm of the opinion that it may have been the sound of Linny's accomplice, Lynette. And when the pyrotechnics went off, she cut the rope, sending the water tank crashing.
Wait, wasn't the noise we heard too loud?
Perhaps the balance wasn't right, leading to a particular... Oh, that's true.
That does remind Paimon... Whoever the murderer was, they must have made preparation. This rope, people needed to register and reserve a seat for the show. That, combined with this numbers, why would it... God, we all heard that noise, didn't we?
Lenny's still talking to the guards. It seems he'll have a lot. I think someone will be assigned to monitor us later, but...
Hey, you! Yes, both of you! Over here! I've been keeping an eye on you for a while now.
Huh? You mean us?
That's right. If I'm not mistaken, you're also among those who wish to cut down the thorns and pursue the truth. No?
Well, you're right on the mark about that one, but who are you?
Have you never heard of the Spina di Rosula? From mediating disputes and providing protection to solving conundrums, you name it, Spina di Rosula does it. And I, Navia, have the honor of being its renowned president. Though those who play by our rules call me boss.
I'm Silver, her attendant. Pleased to meet you.
And I'm Melus. Demoiselle's various daily needs and affairs are under my purview.
Huh? Boss? Demoiselle? What gives with the name?
Well, I am the second generation president.
My apologies, Demoiselle. Should you prefer Bob?
No need. You don't have to call me boss. Just Navia is fine.
Okay, if you say so. Not that we're members of...
All merely trifling details. Never mind. Now, that's right. I've always kept an eye on the serial disappearance cases. My interest stems from a matter back from my father's time. Judging from the look of things, I find Linny an
Really? We think so too! But how did you...
Intuition, naturally. My unparalleled intuition. Farina sure was quick to point the finger at Linny without any But that's not uncommon for her. If you remember, the justice had to interrupt her and ask if she was Anyway, a trial begins the moment someone levels charges. And, of course, there was no way Farina was going to back down.
Sounds more like you just don't trust the Hydro Archon.
Well, what's your opinion? I must admit that she can be interesting at times. All right, I've answered your question. Now, it's time you answer...
Wait a minute! Did that answer count?
Well, I say it does. But don't worry. In your opinion, do you think it's right to treat a trial like it's an opera?
Well...
And why would that be? Silver and Malus?
Most astute of you, demoiselle. I too think that the traveler, no matter how wonderful the script or how fervent the audience's expect, that if that can be done, boss, then...
All right, that's quite enough, Malus. Anyway, now, I need to make some preparations, following which our...
Wait! Since when did we become assistants?
Oh, well, I can be the assistant. Sure.
That's more like it.
Far be it from me to brag, but I believe that you wish to save a friend from false accusations.
You have a point. And what about you over there? What do you think? You seem like you've got something on your mind.
I have nothing to add.
Oh, alrighty then.
We'll be making some preparations first. Just be sure to let us know if they start.
Sorry, but no one can freely enter or exit the Opera House at the
No, we're not leaving. Were you always guarding this entrance?
Yes, after the Chief Justice gave the order, everyone coming in or out, so the missing girl couldn't have left from here. At least, not from that point on. I doubt there was much opportunity then.
How can you be so sure?
Well, because I was in charge of security near the... I couldn't see Linny's performance from here, which was quite a shame. Just my luck. But still, I did not abandon my post, and I stayed put no matter how loud the applause was. We Melazines are good at that sort of thing, you know.
So, it's safe to say the girl couldn't have... Alright, thank you for your help. This'll be useful... We've checked everything of note here at the performance venue. Paimon wonders how Linny's discussion with the guards is going. Let's go see, shall we? Ooh, things are getting interesting, huh? We're about to see how magic is made.
Understood. Then I will be going with you. Just so you're aware, I will be monitoring your actions.
Very good. Thanks for being so agreeable.
You may spare the pleasantries. I'm just doing my job.
You've arrived. Who's this?
Me? I'm Spina di Rosula's guardian angel. If you've got a problem, I've got the firepower. Sorry, I got a little carried. And these are my companions. Would you mind if they join?
Fine by me.
Oh, new helpers? I would be
Well, let's just say we're tagging along. It's not every day you get to see the secrets behind magic.
I appreciate your kind interest. Come with me. We'll be heading below stage.
Huh? Below stage?
Yes, a world of secrets is hidden beneath this magic box. But before I reveal everything, you should have a look first. Notice anything strange here? I'm not trying to be dramatic. Remembering the details of a trick will...
Weren't there balloons and other decorations?
Ah, good eye. That said, you're still far from discovering the answer.
The back? You mean the inside of the door?
Very good indeed. I thought you might not be able to catch. The back of this door was patterned. Those patterns are now gone, replaced by a smooth wooden board. So, if you put 2 and 2 together, what do you get? Exactly. All right, let's go. I'll tell you how it works as we head down.
Oh, so there was a passageway under the magic box!
I knew you'd figure out most of it. The 2 magic boxes are positioned right above the 2 entrances. See this flatbed trolley? The box with the lucky audience member in it would be shuttled over to the other.
This trolley can raise and lower and even rotate, ensuring that the box will face in the right direction.
I see. So that's the...
Precisely. The inner box would descend after the audience member was put inside, and...
So that's how you did it!
Once the box was lowered, the trolley would store some energy through this device. The audience member would only be able to feel some slight movements in the dark, and by the time she walked out...
Right! You were talking that whole time, and you would...
Ah, yes. A phonograph operated by Lynette. My assistant and I had already scripted our conversation beforehand. When the countdown began...
And what about Lynette?
I was in the mezzanine space in the back of the box.
Oh,
That's how we were able to coordinate Linny's lines with the assistant. And, by the way, I was the one who walked...
I mean, we are twins. All it takes is a change of clothes and no one can tell who's who. And that's my favorite part of this trick. Only Lynette and I can perform it.
So that's how it all worked! Wow!
Lynette would briefly walk out of the box and then go back in, jumping into the tunnel and escaping before the box and then I walk out of the other box in the audience area. But as you saw, Cal was in the box, not our audience.
We really don't know how that happened.
If not for that interlude, this would have been an astonishing trick. And yet, to think that someone was able to use this map... Could we have a look around? I think we can come up with some more leads.
This is the scene of the crime, so Linny and Lynette are not permitted to...
Yes, of course. No need to be so strict now.
Thanks, everyone. We're counting on you.
What's this?
Looks like a hook tied to the end of a rope. Huh?
Perhaps it was a prop for a different trick.
Whatever it is.
The floor is wet. Please be careful not to slip.
Speaking of which, why would there be water here?
Oh, Paimon knows! It's one of those tricks where you pour water into a jug and here's a broken vase.
That can't be.
Let's...
Oh, these are the clothes that her clothes are here, but she's nowhere to be found.
Right. And do you really need to... Ugh, this is so confusing. Paimon doesn't want to be a detective anymore. What is this place?
It seems someone could fit through here.
Huh. Could this...
Alone, perhaps. But if they...
But there are no other ways in or out of here. Oh, you're right! Let Paimon write that down. Seems we're just about done investigating down here.
Yes, let's head back up. Well, we've ascertained the state of the crime. Let's find a place to sort out our findings once Malus returns.
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle.
So, what did the guards say? Did the criminal escape?
They believe the odds of that are very low, since the guards have checked the area carefully. No one left through the basement during the
So the tunnels become like a secret chamber then! You know, like the...
The plot thickens. Halsey's disappeared. No wonder Farina was so confident in her accusation.
In other words, the charges are very likely to be upheld unless we make...
Charges and then trial. So if the charges are...
That's right. This is how a trial goes in the Opera House. During the proceedings, the Chief Justice and the... That's right. This is how indemnitium is produced. The statements from both sides, the defenses from attorneys, witness testimonies, and even the audience's emotions will all be projected. To put it simply, it's as if the oratrice has its own will, and is a judge and...
This also precludes any kind of favoritism on the part of the Chief Justice. Not that this is...
Once both sides have finished speaking, the Chief Justice will make his final decision. Then, finally, the oratrice will be consulted by officials. The result it returns is the will of justice itself.
Huh? So that machine is the one that actually decides? I'm unbuttoned of...
In practice, there is very little difference. Both have always come to the same judgment. Ah, yes, the guards also asked me to convey...
Huh? Why?
Because we've chosen to act as the twins' proxies.
They're concerned that we might be colluding with outside parties. And even if that were not so, it could prove problematic if we have...
I'm ready to break out at any time.
Whoa! There's no need for that! Paimon thinks they have a point!
Of course. I just hope you don't mind the lack of options. I'm afraid that catering...
In that case, let's just sort out our findings together here. Pity. I was hoping to take you to try some of Font... I mean, what better way to properly think through our findings than over some tea and sweets?
Huh. Breaking out suddenly doesn't seem like such a bad idea after all. Just kidding! Just kidding! Paimon will still do her best, even if there are no...
What do you mean, no snacks? Of course we'll have snacks.
Huh? Here?
Understood, demoiselle. Everyone, please come with me.
Wait, you're carrying a portable stove with you?
Yes, I must be prepared to meet the demoiselle's baking needs whenever the...
I have eggs, sugar, and almonds at the...
Good work, you two. Then I'll get to it. Please sit tight for a moment.
These three are quite the interesting group. And Paimon thought it smelled good from the way you had these two guys carrying all that stuff around. But you ended up doing the entire thing by yourself. Beating...
I was applauding.
And I was giving encouraging smiles.
Paimon was just thinking. Aren't you worried about getting your fancy dress dirty, beating egg whites?
Well, I don't think it's carved in stone anywhere that fancy ladies can only read books, sip tea, Don't underestimate beating egg whites, by the way. It's a real arm workout. You also need to beat them to just the right consistency. Anyway, give these a try. Fresh out of the oven. There's 3 for each of us.
Only 3?
Well, eating too many sweet treats might send all that sugar to your head.
Tea is ready to be served as well. This is Demoiselle's favorite, strong. No need for concern,
All right then. Down to business. However, we can assume that Linny and Lynette were not alone. The magician twins could have committed the crimes, of course.
Exactly! Why would they do such a thing right when everyone was watching?
The flower vase and the thud we heard during the performance could indicate some altercation between hulls, resulting in the shattering of the vase, the discarding of her cloak. Perhaps the criminal thought that since she was chosen from the crowd,
Paimon thinks that makes sense, but...
True. None of the clues we found, but the only people left to consider are both technically...
Huh. Could Halsey have secretly made modifications to the magic?
That's right. And even if she had tampered with the setup, nor does she have any motive. The guards said that...
Were we not thorough enough in our search? From the sound of things, this is turning into an impossible... Your macarons are amazing, though, Navia. They smell great! They're nice and crisp and...
They are my specialty, after all.
What? 5? Oh, that can't be right.
Please don't worry about it. At my age...
No. Being greedy is one thing. Besides, Paimon knows that if she ate too many, then others wouldn't have enough. Wait, even you don't believe Paimon? If Paimon ate those 2 extra macarons, then may they turn into stuff.
All right, we get it. Well, I suppose, Malus, set up the stove again.
Huh? What?
Making sure everyone gets 3 macarons, of course.
Exactly. We don't want...
As you wish, demoiselle.
And I have the egg sugar and...
Well, this real...
Well, that's it for snack time. I don't know what we're looking for yet, but we've still... It would be awkward if you got all tongue-tied on stage.
All right, thanks for your help, and for the snacks.
It was nothing. A small task for the Spina di Rosula. Silver, Malus, it's time to go. I'll be back if I find anything new.
Alright, it's time to put our heads together. We've got to get our defense ready for the trial. Oh, it's probably gonna be a long and difficult... Here, take Paimon's notes. They should help you review the situation. Why would it be him? How strange. The performance would not have been visible. Well, there was no... And that's why only the 2 of them can perform this trick. There was no third person. That size wouldn't have been a problem for Paimon. Whoever the murderer... This is... Paimon doesn't get this at all. You think about it for a bit, Traveler.
Just relax. Even if everyone else suspects Lenny and Lynette. Besides, I doubt Farina understands.
Thanks, Navia.
Best of luck to you.
Ah, finally, you're back. Well?
To be honest, you might be...
No. We're already very...
Well now, don't you all look disappointed? Don't tell me that your investigation came up. That was to be expected, of course. The guilty can never produce proof of their innocence. But don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you,
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the magic... Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and...
Yes, of course. I will explain, well...
Thank you, Mr. Linney. In that, you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the...
Yes, that's correct, Your...
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady...
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying. There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask...
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation.
And you didn't hear anything else?
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a
Huh?
Hey, hang on. Something's not right here.
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box, and I definitely heard the thud.
Look at those scales.
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the magician himself. Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my foundations are rock. Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
The House of the Hearth?
No wonder they did something like this.
So the serial disappearances were the Fatsui's doing. Now it all...
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably wasn't just an act.
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that 1 minute. Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept secret now. Unless your script already has hold. The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting and discord, I suppose. Oh, good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really paying off.
Hey, Linny, why did...
Order! Order! Mr. Linney, allow me to re-establish the facts. Lady Farina has raised 2 points. First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and Ms. Lynette are both... Are these claims true? Please answer my question.
I'm sorry. Yes, they're true.
I knew it!
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the...
What should we do now?
Granted. In that case, what is your request?
Is that really necessary?
The defendant deceived their own attorney.
Order! Order, I say! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn.
So you would stick to Mr. Linney's... In that case, my dear audience, let's allow the joy of victory to steep for a little while.
Well, this is awkward. I didn't think the Hydro Archon would dig all that up. I'm sorry, Traveler and Paimon.
Yeah, sorry.
Paimon doesn't know where to start. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption that you weren't bad guys. Not to set the wrong tone or anything, but Paimon's really mad!
I'm very sorry. I know you're angry. I know you've clashed with the Vatui several times before. I wouldn't be surprised if just... But our organization is very, very large, and the Harbingers have very different personalities and goals.
Right now, we want to save people.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation and the disaster that I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, that's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us spend... Right. So, you be the judge. Heck, you met a Fatus who works as a magician, a trickster by trade. All by coincidence, too. But still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am no criminal. At least, not in this case.
Sorry. Please forgive us.
Well, you both say that, but... Right. Let's hear your answer first, and no lies!
Of course. I'll answer any... We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has a consciousness. Why can it deliver sentences accurately? During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick, with the objective of getting close to the core.
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and went to
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
Well, nothing. As soon as I reached that, which should have been impossible, of course, I was quite certain that voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on the side of caution and retreated On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground. But the countdown... After that, the homicide occurred just as you saw.
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to deal with that prophesized...
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. It was never my wish to proceed under this... But, like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want to leave because you don't trust the
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
Okay.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped. If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations... Huh? Hope!
Both parties have returned to their positions. Let us continue the trial. When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her reconstruction of the events.
That took long enough. Now then, if everyone would lend me their attention at this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective. Countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which he did not realize that the sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house, which is why he claimed earlier that finally he used the vase to knock her out, before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange... So Linny proceeded to knock him out too before... Afterward, Linny passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands, before... And there you have it. That's the truth behind what happened.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady Farina's description of the events?
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events. What Linny... Seems this one... Seems... Linny went to the room that contains the Oratrice's core. This is the act... According to Linny, he left via the vent after entering the tunnel. He couldn't have had that altercation with Halsey. Linny did not take part in the underground altercation.
Attention! Ace Detective Paimon has something to say! When the countdown started, Linny did indeed go into the tunnel. But he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where the underground core of the Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been an The crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again. And in order to... Finally, he reached the surface. And that was when the accident...
In other words, you believe that he knew nothing of the incident?
That's right!
My reasoning?
If that's the case, then if Cowell hadn't entered the tunnel, who was the entire setup, assuming that what you say is true? Linny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance case.
Oh, they have a point.
That's right, you tell him! And that's why... Oh, well, your denial is very strident, I'll give you that. But what... Of course I do. If he had been in the magic box the whole time, how could... You're saying that he wasn't?
Well played.
To think you'd use such logic. Well then, if it wasn't Linny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
Halsey is the missing person and an ordinary audience member. Could there have been a third person involved? The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant.
That can't be right.
Oh, is that so? How
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator to... Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel, so the sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment. It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. No one entered or left the Opera House through its entrances. The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's... Linny was not in the tunnel at that... The sound we heard may have come from a It would have been tough for both people to fit... Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. The deceased's name is Cowell. No one entered or left the... It would have been tough for both people...
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble figuring...
I see how it is.
Look, since we're at a dead end, just like the trick as it transpired, the end result...
If only we knew how Halsey disappeared.
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits. And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real-life person...
Excuse my interruption, dear opponents, but do you not see that the...
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between... The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's... The vase was not broken by chance.
Paimon gets it! It all comes together if Halsey disappeared. Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving only clothes behind. If there's a similar method...
Oh, just a moment, please. How could a person ever be transformed into water? This... Must we really? I should think that magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection. But
Even so, I trust the travelers. The truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of reasoning may open if we try to gather... Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to have...
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end of their rope.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at an impasse, I believe that additional evidence may help us make more progress. Guards, please step into the lounge and examine the personal effects of the deceased, Cowell.
We are still examining the items, but we have already made critical progress. We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's baggage, each labeled separately. The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are... water from the primordial sea.
The primordial sea?
The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs and that he had an accomplice. The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluids, in which the keyword dissolve. One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's date. The notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontaine. It's likely that Halsey was chosen as some sort. As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is...
You've got to be kidding! People dissolving into water?
Could something so ridiculous actually be true?
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy, but it's...
If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide... Wait just a minute. Could that mean...
Demoiselle, wait! What about your partners?
Let's go. Just trust me.
Order! Order! It is undeniable that further examination of the deceased's personal effects has yielded some surprising results, but we cannot yet verify the Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit with the understanding that Ms. Halsey has yet to be found. Guards, please continue examining the item. Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is...
Of course. Thank you. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case is seemingly unrelated...
Right! Like the metal hook! Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water from the primordial sea.
The deceased's name is Cowell. Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic. The rope that held the water tank up was lit by the fireworks and snapped. The water from the primordial sea should already... Lynette was in the magic box on... Lynette was in the magic box. I remember there was something... The water from the primordial...
It's Ace Detective Paimon's time to shine again! In the original plan, Cowell would tamper with the water tank rope, and the number selector when the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial seed inside it. Afterward, Cowell would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel. But he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel and wound up being fatally hit by the same water tank he meant to use to cover his trip.
Huh. That does make sense.
That actually links together a lot of the...
Oh dear, what do I do? Even I think they sound convincing now. Have I...
Now, it seems like the only point of contention remaining is the... His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related...
On that note, the guards have just contacted me. I shall now invite him on stage to share it with us.
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just and we found an identical sample of the water from the
What?
That can't be.
Oh, I see. Well, how wonderfully comedic to have your own counterattack only to come back and wound you. Does this not clear all, my dear citizens, my loyal audience? Linny did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all, having made modifications to the props beforehand. But upon his return, in cruel avarice, ultimately, he knocked Cowell out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up. Now, as much as I regret having come to such a viciously straightforward conclusion. Am I right, Mr. Linny?
We've used up all the evidence we collected. Is this the end of the road?
Oh no. Seems using the water as new evidence was
I think we've all seen enough now. And I believe this is indeed the finale. Now then, my good, noble
excuse me, everyone, but
Miss, I must ask you not to shout, and to...
Oh, come on. Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. Now, would anyone here like to take... I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who has disappeared.
What in the...
No offense, miss, but miracles like...
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once again? And wouldn't such a trick be the most Come on, Linny and Lynette. Give it another go. But, as the magic makers and stars of the show,
I understand.
And voila!
Sorry for the interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey?
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would... I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I would be the one put on trial. I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me. And then before I knew...
That'll teach you to underestimate us three.
Where should I begin? I'm sorry.
What? Why?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian. And I heard that Linny's show was gonna be a real thriller, but I missed the chance to buy a ticket. That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there. But I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and
Hey! No wonder you look familiar. So you were the thief! Linny even mentioned that you were pretty skilled.
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number selector he even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. I thought he was on... So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee. But then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel to... I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him... There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change... I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the opera house.
Can a person even hide in there?
But I swear, I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box. I may be a thief.
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't it?
This time, we need to tell the entire story from Lillian. The strange sound wasn't from a fight. It was Lillian's. The flower vase was not broken to cover anything up, but Lillian was afraid that she would be recognized if she left, so she changed clothes and
And it's Ace Detective Paimon time! Having been selected out of the blue, Lillian, her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head. So she kicks the door open, producing. Hearing the commotion, Cowell leapt into the tunnel, only to discover that Lillian had... He did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine, but was a thief who made her way in by stealing a ticket. Mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed time to take effect, he tried to force Lillian. The two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but Lillian, with no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and hid in the costume truck. She knew that she would have to go through guard inspection if she tried to leave afterward. So,
she had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons. So, she swiped 2 of them right under our noses. Talk about a sneaky thief.
At this point, all the events that happened in the tunnel have now come to light.
Ah, so that's the whole story.
Bravo! Bravo!
Now then, Lady Farina. Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request that the prosecution not leave the room before the proceedings have concluded.
What? Are you reading my mind now? No. I have no further arguments.
Wow. Look at that! She's like a deflated balloon now!
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, the actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, selected his next victim from the audience with some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would be chosen. To cover up any evidence while committing the deed, Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when the magic trick officially began. The box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the water. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from... Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Lillian, thinking that the water... However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic... Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended, before... As for Linny, he was in the underground structure. From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude that Linny, the... While there is much in Linny and Lillian's conduct that should still be investigated, this case, at least, can be handed over to the oratories to make the final decision. As such, Linny and Lynette.
Victory for Ace Detective Paimon!
Great work, partners.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation, Guard Vaughn. How did you find the water from the primordial sea in Linny's baggage?
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know. Or was that not a discovery?
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your sentence.
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way ticket to Coupon Town.
I was just following orders. We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui.
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, therefore you would be wise to tell everything you know, and seek...
Yes! Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration. We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent more off it. The disappearances...
And now he can no longer talk.
Such ruthlessness. I shouldn't have expected any less of them.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
So, we're just going back now? That's true.
Traveler, Paimon! Please wait.
Lenny...
I know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you don't even want to look at... But still, let me thank you again for defending me to the end. Even after you learned that I'm a member of the... I guess. But regardless, I'd like the opportunity to set things... I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of the Hearth align with those of an orc. That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then too.
The Knave? The one who controls the House of the Hearth? She's your father?
That's right. And since we're here, I was wondering... Back when our parents first died, Lynette and I were left wandering the street. To survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older street performer who did magic. I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner, and we began to perform. To my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular, and we could at least stop worrying about where our next meal would come from for a time. Before long, an aristocrat came to me and claimed that he wished to take us in after watching my performances.
So you went from orphans to nobility just like that?
That was how we felt at first, too. As if fate was on our side and we could... But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he was really after my talent for magic. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention, which he would then use to expand his social circles.
That doesn't seem too bad either. Better than...
It took a while for me to realize just how dark his heart... After one particular performance at a banquet, I discovered that Lynette was not on the same return vehicle. I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not come back. The answer he gave me was... She caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a gift. I mean, you'll be able to perform your magic regardless of who you...
Oh no. So he was gonna... But wouldn't Fontaine's laws deal with such...
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption or foster care. I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person and hurried through the night. But all I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood, and the Knave standing there in the darkness.
So, she'd already taken care of that guy.
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even discovered several girls hidden in... the Knave, might have seen something in me, and so she made me an offer. The House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. Here, none will ever betray you. I was hesitant to trust her. I mean, I had just been betrayed by nobles, but she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken us in at first, giving us back our freedom.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth.
She has her own plans. She has gained permission from the Tsaritsa to first use the Gnosis' power once she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy.
So, she believes in that prophecy too?
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently working to combat that crisis. Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve into some sort of water, thus further supporting the prophecy. All of us house members here, Lady Arlecchino herself included, are from Fontaine. We won't give up on defending our homeland. To us orphans, the only connection we have left to this world, apart from our family, is our homeland.
So, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets to huge schemes like stealing a note.
It's all right. I understand. I just hope you can understand that even as a member of the house, I have never stopped. If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me.
Bye, Linny!
Hey there! What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for us, Navia?
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting closer to... Huh? What's wrong, my dear partner?
Besides, are you sure we're the ones who can crack a case that's been cold for... And given that there's new evidence from the trial...
Ah, I see. Well, I won't lie. Sorry. I might have been too presumptuous.
Don't say that, Navia.
Ah, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too. It was like having new waters flowing into a stagnant mire, causing new hope to spring forth, and sorry about that. I'm a bit prone to... Wait, shall we have a farewell meal? You know, to...
Huh? Do we really need to get that formal?
Well, I'd just like to have a proper ending to every important memory. Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't take up too...
You don't have to twist Paimon's arm if Boss...
Oh, wonderful. In that case, why don't we
All right, then. Let's have our farewell meal.
It's so nice to de-stress.